Good evening. This is the Town of Austin Planning Board for December 19th, 2018. We just go around the table and introduce ourselves.
Carolyn Stevens, member.
Xinghua Chen, Chair.
Gareth Huffman, board member.
Jim Bassinas, board member.
Dan Ciarcia, consulting engineer of the planning board.
Sandy Nelly, secretary.
David Stolman, town planning consultant.
Kathy Zalantis, planning board attorney.
Okay. I see the first item is Rayford Davern and Sons, 52-1 Old Albany Post Road, architectural review, amended for lot 1. Applicant?
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening. I'm good. Hope everybody's well. I'm not sure if there's anything else required on my end.
Okay. David?
No, John, I think you've done everything you need to do.
Thank you very much.
For the moment.
For the moment. And once again, I apologize for all the tough times we had, but I think we're at the end of the road and good solution to lot 1. So, thank you all. I really appreciate it.
Okay. David, is there anything on the resolution that we need to review at this point?
Let me just point out a couple of things if I could. So in the title, we're saying that this is for a single-family home on lot 1, which is tax lot 87.1. We get a bit more specific in the second paragraph, where we give the address as 52-1 Old Albany Post Road, designated as section 80.14, block 2, lot 87.1 on the tax maps. And that's important because we're not mentioning lot 3 at all. And then in the very last paragraph, let me just point out that we say, this resolution grants no approval whatsoever to any parcel of land other than the lot specified herein, tax lot section 80.14, block 2, lot 87.1. So we're very clear about that. And then we list the application materials on the first page. And then if you turn to the bottom part of page 2, why don't I just read through the conditions so we're all clear on the conditions, so that there are no unanswered questions. The building inspector shall not issue a building permit for the project prior to the following conditions being fulfilled. One is our standard one where Dan Ciarcia has to be satisfied, including but not limited to showing unnecessary grades and contours on the plan. And then the following aspects of the site plan shall be such that they meet the satisfaction of the town planning consultant. A, the site plan shall be revised to specify that the retaining wall along the front of the lot, the retaining wall along the northerly side of the driveway, and the U-shaped retaining wall along the southerly side of the driveway shall be faced with a natural stone, that these stone walls will have natural dry joints, and that there will be no visible mortar on these stone walls. The other retaining walls on the site shall be faced with the split blocks shown in the 8.5 by 11 photograph specified above, and the site plan shall identify the manufacturer and the manufacturer's specifications for this material. Further, a catalog cut sheet shall be submitted for this material. B, all of the above specified application material shall identify the project's name and address, the design professional preparer, and the date. C, the above specified drawings prepared by ARQ HT Design Group shall be revised to identify the names of the manufacturers and the manufacturers' names or numbers and colors of all paint and materials. D, all pertinent drawings shall be revised to show at least one additional window on each side elevation. I phrase it that way just in case you want to have more windows than that. But you only have to have one additional. E, the building inspector shall be requested to determine if and where fencing for safety purposes will be required at the top of the retaining walls, and if determined to be necessary by the building inspector, the site plan shall be revised to show said fencing, and an appropriate detail of said fencing shall be shown on the site plan drawings. And then F is just our standard lighting notes that we put in the ARB approvals. 5 on the top of page 4 is a note that states that all vegetation shown on the site plan drawing shall be maintained in a healthy and vigorous growing condition throughout the duration of the proposed use of the site. All vegetation not so maintained shall be replaced with new comparable vegetation at the beginning of the next growing season. And then B, before a CO, this is our standard condition where the planning board gets notified. The planning board can go out and look at the site before the issuance of the CO. The planning board can require any reasonable modifications to the landscaping, lighting, or other site details, etc., which shall become a condition of said CO. C, the following are general conditions. 1 is our standard paragraph regarding the payment of fees, and I went over 2 already regarding the fact that this resolution does not apply to any other lot than that specified here.
Any other comments from the staff? as this is a continuation of a public hearing, are there any members of the public?
Actually, we closed the public
Oh,
hearing.
that's right, okay, fine. So, any further comments from the applicant?
No, sir.
Any comments from the board? Can I have a resolution? Motion.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution for approval of the single-family home on Lot 1, tax lot 87.1.
Second?
I'll second.
No objections? Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Great holiday.
Have a good
night, you
holiday.
too.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Learning Experience 530 North State Road Site Plan Amendment. This is a continuation of the public hearing. Before we start, the applicant, you're aware that we're short a member today. You wish to adjournment?
No, we don't. I may ask the board if it's in a position to take action, to take a straw poll before you actually vote, if you're willing to do that.
Anyone have an objection to doing that at this time? Or do we need any discussion? No?
No,
I
I don't have a
mean,
problem.
you can refuse my request, but
I don't have a problem.
Okay. So we're fine with that. I believe the straw poll would be positive at this time. Is that correct?
oh, I wasn't asking you to do it yet. Just when you get to the
It's
point.
okay.
But that's great.
Yeah,
I
it's okay.
appreciate
Well,
that.
it's good they're doing it now, because if they did it later, we'd be wasting our time.
That's true. We've wasted enough of your time.
Okay.
I'm-
Not at all. You've been quite a gentleman here.
Well, thank you.
David, is there any comments at this time for the resolutions?
A couple. The resolutions, just for the record, the resolutions were sent out yesterday, so you've had a chance to look them over presumably. I made some revisions to the resolution of site plan approval today and got that out earlier today. So why don't I just go over those changes and explain why. So in the resolution of site plan approval on page 3, we talk a bit about the comments that were made on the application by the Westchester County Planning Board. And it's important to do that because it could be construed that with the comments that were made, recommendations made by the Westchester County Planning Board, if you're not in total compliance with them, you have to approve this by a full membership, by a majority plus one of the full membership of the board instead of a simple majority. So 4 instead of 3, 4 affirmative votes instead of 3. And then in that case, the planning board is also obligated to file a report with the Westchester County Planning Board explaining the reasons for acting contrary to their recommendations. This will get a bit clearer as we go through the resolution. So they made comments, including one comment about building orientation, and I quoted from the letter here, so it'll become clearer as we go through this. So at the top of page 3, we have new wording, and it says, whereas the site plan drawings conform to the Westchester County Planning Board's recommendations above, except possibly with regard to the following comments. Quote, the proposed orientation of the building with the front door turned perpendicularly away from the street facing the parking lot is generally not consistent with the County Planning Board's long-range policies set forth in Westchester 2025, Context for County and Municipal Planning and Policies to Guide County Planning, adopted by the board on May 6, 2008, amended January 5, 2010, and its recommended strategies set forth in Patterns for Westchester, the Land and the People, adopted December 5, 1995, which encourage a focus on pedestrian-scaled streetscapes in downtown areas. And this is a continuation of the quote. While we recognize that childcare operations in suburban areas must rely on parking and drop-off zones to deliver children to the facility, we point out that this can still be accomplished while fronting more of the building along the street with a primary or secondary entrance in front of the building. Parking would ideally be located to the rear and side of the building, since it typically detracts from the creation of a pedestrian-scaled streetscape, end quote. And whereas in an effort to comply with the spirit of the above quoted comments, the site plan has been modified so that the facade of the building which faces North State Road will appear like the front of a building and will have a secondary entrance on this facade. And whereas the proposed parking is not located directly in front of the building, but rather to the side of the building as per the above quoted comments, and whereas to the extent that the site plan may not conform to the above quoted comments, the planning board intends to approve the project by an affirmative vote of at least a majority plus one of the full membership of the board, and will file a report of said approval and the reasoning for acting contrary to the Westchester County Planning Board's above quoted comments as per section 239-M of the New York State General Municipal Law. So we have that in there. Any questions on that? Okay, and then if you turn to page 5, in the initial version, before they could get a building permit, they were going to have to submit evidence of the license from the New York State Division of Child Care Services. I've been informed that that license will not be issued until there's a CO for the project. So instead of having that requirement here, it was taken from here and put at toward the end of the resolution. On the last page, item H is new, and it says, prior to the site being utilized for and operated as a child care facility, the applicant shall secure a license for same from the New York State Division of Child Care Services and shall submit evidence of such license to the town building and planning department. So everything else is the same as it was. Let me just go back a page or two to see if there's anything else worth mentioning. The only other items worth mentioning, I think, are on page 4, prior to the site plan being signed by the chairman of the planning board. Again, things have to be to Dan's satisfaction. The outside governmental approvals have to be obtained and evidence submitted of those to the planning board, to the planning department. And C, the following matters shall be fulfilled to the satisfaction of the town planning consultants. The site plan drawings should eliminate or shall eliminate the intersection site distance, but show the stopping site distance, which is acceptable. And the driveway on North State Road has to be designed to accommodate an emergency vehicle and an SU-30 design vehicle, which is a good-sized truck. And then under items that have to be fulfilled prior to the issuance of the CO for the project, we have 2A. The applicant shall enter into a stormwater facilities management agreement with the town of Austin, which is becoming fairly common in the resolutions, but never used to be. Those are the only things that I think I need to point out.
Okay, any other comments from the staff? The applicants had a chance to take a look at these amendments, these changes?
We absolutely did.
Okay, any comments on them?
No, we concur with them.
Okay. As this is a continuation of a public hearing, is there any members of the public interested in this matter? Seeing none, okay, any comments from the board? Can I have a motion?
To close the public hearing.
I'm sorry? Oh, yes, well, close public hearing, then motion on the
I'll move to close the public hearing.
No objections? Okay. Public hearing is closed. Could I have a motion on adopting this resolution?
Resolution of site plan approval.
Yes, just the first one.
I'll move that we approve the resolution of the site plan approval for the 530 North State Road
The learning experience.
learning experience.
Second.
No objections?
No.
Okay, next resolution?
Okay, the next resolution is the resolution of the wetlands permit approval, which you received yesterday. And that would be the second resolution. Well, actually, you have them separate. Mine are all stapled together. So the first part of this is all boilerplate, pretty much. If you turn to the middle of page 3, just to kind of paraphrase through these conditions, before a building permit is issued for the project, these following things have to be fulfilled. Number 1, the applicant shall enter into a landscape maintenance agreement with the town of Austin that includes but is not limited to the wetland mitigation plantings. Item 2 is a performance guarantee for the work that would be done related to the wetlands. And number 3 is a maintenance guarantee in an amount equal to 25% of the performance guarantee for the maintenance of the wetland plantings and such for a period of 5 years. To the middle of page 4, the following conditions shall be fulfilled prior to the issuance of a CO for the project. And this is the same condition that was in the resolution of site plan approval, where you're informed you have an opportunity to go out and require changes which would become conditions of the CO. And then C is general conditions, category C. And it's pretty much boilerplate until you get to 13. And here we mention the 5-year wetland and wetland buffer monitoring and maintenance plan dated October 24, 2018, which has to be implemented, as well as the wetland restoration and invasive species removal and control program dated October 18, 2018, which has to be implemented as well. And everything else is pretty much the way it is in all the other wetlands resolutions.
Any other comments from the staff on this matter, on this particular resolution? Applicants had a chance to look at this?
We have.
Any comments?
We have no comments.
Is there any members of the public interested in speaking on this particular topic? Seeing none, any comments from the board? Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution of the wetlands permit approval for the learning experience at 530 North State Road.
I'll second that.
Any objections? Okay, seeing none, thank you.
I should mention, there's no resolution of tree removal permit required because, you know, it's a very disturbed site. There are some little things that may be taken down, but no regulated trees. So we don't need a resolution to approve any removal of regulated trees. So the third resolution is a resolution of Architectural Review Board approval. And this resolution makes all the required findings that you find in every other resolution of Architectural Review Board approval, and there are no specific conditions related to this project. All the appropriate notes have been put on the drawings. The drawings are very complete. There's no need for any project-specific condition.
And I understand that the applicant received was granted a variance from the zoning?
3 variances, and actually they're mentioned in the resolution of site plan approval. And if you'd like, I could pick that wording up in this resolution as well. Let me tell you where, or maybe, let's see, let me find it. Okay, in the resolution of site plan approval on the top of page 4, it says, whereas on December 17, 2018, the Town of Austining Zoning Board of Appeals issued 3 area variances with respect to the proposed signage for the project.
Yeah, why don't we put that into the...
Yes, good idea.
Just in case, for whatever reason, the zoning board has something to follow up on it, they would automatically track that.
Right, very good.
Okay, any other comments from the staff on this matter? Applicants had a chance to look?
We
Look at
have, and we have no comments.
Seeing no members of the public has entered the room, any comments from the board? Okay. Any motion?
I'll move that we approve the resolution of the Architectural Board of Review, for the Architectural Board of Review for the learning experience as
Amended.
amended.
Any second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any objections? Okay. Thank you. I believe that's approved.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time and your patience.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay, at this time, I think we should probably go into executive session. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second. Great, thank you. We're in executive session. Okay, so we made a motion, we're back on the executive, public session.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
No objections? Thank you. Happy holidays, folks.
Happy
Okay.
holidays.
You too. You too.
Holidays,
Um,
we're out.